architects of the future of Islamic finance. So we may just jump this one. We relate it to, okay, in Islam, Almighty Allah said in Surah to Kaf, when he was talking about youth, إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى. Indeed, they were young men and women who believed in their Lord, and Almighty Allah increased them in wisdom, in religion, in faith, and knowledge. The Messenger of Almighty Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was also authentically reported to have said, take advantage of 5 before 5. And out of these 5 is mentioned youth before old age. As we are still in our youthful age, we have to take note of that one. This historical reality is equally applicable to the future of Islamic banking. Buildings, banks, regulations, and it goes for that one. Whichever we have, we need to put people there. Which kind of people are we going to put there? Those people who have quality of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the sincerity of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and trustworthy of Uthman, and also the knowledge of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Those are the youth that we are yearning for. Then, in the paragraph number 10, we mention, in addition to what I've mentioned earlier before, prophetic leadership and the empowerment of young people. So, in addition to that, we all know the history of Usama ibn Zayd, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam appointed him to lead a state army into war, and he was about 15 to 16 years old in those days. Nowadays, in Nigeria, we are still dragging and discussing the university age in Nigeria. Meanwhile, in those days, youth of 15, youth of 16, they already shadowed the responsibility of the state. Also, under this leadership quality, let me say something here that at times, do we think there is no opportunity in the society, or there is opportunity but there is no those who are going to tap in the opportunity? I think it is the last one. There are a lot of opportunities, but left for us in order to tap the opportunity. As we said in the case of the Abdurrahman, that opportunity, knowledge, and competency is very, very important. When we engage ourselves or we engage others in order to partner or to encounter our business, I want to say something. Even though all the evidence we have been providing stated that there is connection between faith, integrity, and entrepreneurship. But in financial industry, one does not prevail above other. Don't look into somebody simply because he or she appears as a righteous person, and then you entrust him or her in a very sensitive place. One may fail, woefully, God forbid. An example of that is the case, the debate occurred between Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu. We all know that during the lifetime of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the commander-in-chief of armed forces for Muslim states? Now, who was leading the Muslim army during the lifetime of Messenger. Whenever they are going for war, who used to lead, organize the army, organize the troops? My brothers and sisters. During the lifetime of Messenger, whenever they are going for jihad, if somebody used to lead, thank you very much, Khalid bin Walid, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And when Abu Bakr Siddiq became Khalifa, he sustained him, didn't remove him. But right from the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Umar was agitating for replacing Khalid, for replacing Abu Ubaidah, Aminu Hadil Ummah, for Khalid bin Walid. On the basis that Abu Ubaidah was more righteous, he was memorizer of Al-Quran. When you look at him, you know that yes, you compare his appearance with that of Khalid, you know that this is a Muslim brother. As we are seeing today, when we see a brother with hanging trouser, with beard, with this, with that, this is a faithful brother. And the same thing applicable to sisters too. And that's what Omar was using in order to persuade Abu Bakr Siddiq to replace Khalid with Abu Ubaidah, radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. But Abu Bakr Siddiq answered him, and that's our referencing point here. Umar said, how will you appoint Khalid to lead soldier, to lead army, under whom was Abu Ubaidah and the first generation of Muslims among the companions? No doubting, that is, that those who embrace Islam earlier of Islamic age, they are better than those who embrace Islam in the later time. There are no argument in that. Or do we have any arguments? We don't have any argument.
Based on Umar's argument. But Abu Bakr told him that yes, I agree with you. In our own observation, in our own assessment, we didn't say categorically, but you may say Abu Ubaidah is more religious, is more righteous than Khalid ibn Walid, and but the religiosity of Abu Ubaidah benefits him alone, between him and Almighty Allah. But still, the competency, the military intelligence owned by Khalid benefits Ummah. We don't even know whether it benefits himself, but doesn't benefit Ummah. So we have to look for somebody who benefits Ummah and retain him, not somebody who benefits himself, not Ummah. And Abu Bakr Siddiq sustained Khalid ibn Walid throughout his time. But in order to indicate about this thing, the moment Umar became Amir al-Mu'minin, first among assignments he did was to replace Khalid with Abu Ubaidah. And I think you know the history. The Maraka to Jisr, that was the first Maraka, the first battle led by Abu Ubaidah, and that was not part of the Maraka. They lose. They lost the soldier. Why? Because they teach very fundamental, perhaps, that will never may never do so. And one of them about regretted that action. So the lesson I want when you are dealing with finance, please don't rely on these brothers in Islam or these sisters in Islam, Salman, the fast always, the grace always. That benefit him or her and him or her material. But when it comes to confidence, please don't compromise confidence. Then we don't. The paragraph 12 says universities are the people of ethical and financial leadership. This is my younger ones, students of today. These are the vanguard of the world finance. In order to maintain the transition from classroom to industry, so the university needs to produce graduates who will combine accounting, artificial intelligence, communication, data sciences, economics, entrepreneurship, among others. So that we can be part of the modern Islamic finance. Then 13.1 says character before competence. We have to move to that one. Then finally, education and Nigeria is also there. So I say finally, the call to the students. Permit me to conclude by addressing the students directly. Dear students, do not underestimate your significance. You are more important. You are more significant. Within this audience, we, among you are today, we will have governor of central bank and tomorrow. We have future minister of finance. We have future professors. We have future judges. We have future executive officers. Future Sharia scholars, future fintech entrepreneurs, future developers of artificial intelligence, future innovators whose ideas will transform ethical finance across Africa and wide world. Prepare yourself accordingly. Read beyond examination. Read beyond examination. Develop character before career, master technology without abandoning spirituality. Remember that every contract you got, especially those of us lawyers, every contract we got, every financial product you sign, every investment you approve, every institution you lead without will ultimately become part of accountability for Almighty Allah. As Allah reminds us, indeed, Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due, and when you judge between people, judge with justice. This Quranic command is not addressed only to judges in our rulers, also addressed to every future program, accountant, lawyer, regulator, leader of tomorrow, and of course, the journalist. So thank you very much for listening, and once again, let me appreciate the organizer. And my appreciation is sincere. Thank you for taking this opportunity by appointing our scholar, our sheikh, our role model, Professor Razak Al-Jidi, and the director of the organization. And I want to believe that this opportunity that all of us are at home hand. As I told you to, and you have told me, please don't let this initiative remain in the University of London alone. You are aware that we have universities in the Kwara State and also part of the leading universities in the country. So I appreciate your efforts and your assurance that it's going to go beyond the University of Ibadan. So both of us, the Kwara State University, Ethicon University, and other universities in Kwara State, and of course in Nigeria. So we pray that God will continue to enhance and enrich our shape, our scholar, presidential, Professor Abdulazak Abdulmajid, and all the participants. God make this, as I said, recorded in our own tongue, in our record of good use, that is benefit here and hereafter. I was so
Thank you very much, dear Professor Adami, for this blessed keynote speech. We appreciate you. Thank you for giving us your time. This is more than commendable. We appreciate it. I believe every one of us were able to judge one or two things. So we like to know, before I make this up, because I won't give you the expo of what I'm going to ask you. After the question and answer, I would like to give us the summary of the speech. Before moving on, I would like to appreciate the presence of our leader, our scholar, who was the president of my department at religion, who was president of session 2024, right? Mr. Sheikh Yusuf Awi, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be with you forever and will not forsake you for any time. Thank you for organizing this with us. Thank you for your mentorship. We appreciate you and your brothers. Moving on, I will be asking question concerning what our professor asked that he discussed about. Firstly, we have any non-Muslim here with us? Okay, from here, can you just raise up your hand? Non-Muslim. Okay, maybe she died. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we thank God that this is one of our mission. Because this is one of our mission. Part of God's thought that Nigeria to try to liberate them to have non-Muslims and God's members. This is the contribution of Islamic finance. And why we are giving us these notes, that all the notes are to improve in one way or the other. According to the story we read that brought to us, others, which shows the importance and the significance and impact that the youth have put in place to the contribution of Islamic finance. So we try as much as possible to reach out to every lecturers that are not who can share their knowledge, and that's why we name this team as the contribution of all youths, whether you are from medicine, you are from engineering, you are from anywhere. This collective effort, collective individual ability to contribute to the youth development, to contribute to the Islamic finance is needed. Without finding of where you are from, either you study Islamic study, whether you study Christian religion, whether you study geography, all these need impact for each of all these fields. Likewise, when the Professor told us, these people are not experts, or they are not recognized to one extent of experts. They are not known have a gift for you and we will name the structure of the gift for you after that. So my first question, are we ready for it? Everyone of us. From the females, are we ready? You are not ready? Alright, he said from here are we ready? Alright. When Abdurrahman went out, we reached Medina. Who was facing it and what pressure was it out? This is two questions. Who was it at Medina and what pressure was it out? So, alright, first question that I can see. Can I just have to comment this? Have to comment. Sorry. Assuming there's another mic up. There's not a mic, so you can help us. Now, King Najash at Medina. No. Alright. You met some people over here at Medina. And the question you asked is that let me to market please let us appreciate it. Not the beginning, he really follow the. Now, so why should you come up to collect it? Just a second. So we are encouraging everyone of us to always pay attention to the lecture. So alright, I will go the question to want everyone of us to participate and there is no room for shy. Okay, so the gift is powered by the next team. The gift is powered by the next team. We appreciate you and thank you for providing this for us and the opportunity for the students. The next question, why the speaker along the speech? So, okay, the second question should be for the people. One keynote speech, just one keynote speech that we learned here. One keynote speech from. Alright, thank you. Can I just say it for them? Get it right from it. We should have entrepreneurship mindset. Thank you very much. I will appreciate you for. So you can consider it. That we should have our keynote speaker emphasizes on our keynote speaker emphasizes on a particular aspect that you should have entrepreneurship mindset. Entrepreneurship mindset. For whatever background you have, every youth has to develop the entrepreneurship mindset. Whether you are from engineering, whether you are from business administration, you are from Islamic studies, you are from law, this entrepreneurship mindset has to follow you to everywhere. And I would like to give you this kind of example. I'm an Islamic student. And I'm not using this platform to tell you I'm a gadget, but I try to shape myself into everything. The first time I get the opportunity to be a member of this association, I have to boost myself, everything I have to be into this society, so I grow this together. And this is where I have to be gaining a lot of things, especially at the Ethicon. So we would like to go to that, which is having our MC continue this work. Thank you very much, and I appreciate our guests, our keynote speaker. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Once again, I appreciate our keynote speaker for his speech. Thank you, sir. before we proceed, closers, are you ready? Six, 2, 6. No, 3, 6, 3, 6. 2, 3. 1, 9. 1, 9. Another clue. Closers. 6, 360. 30 915 46 560. There is another one. We recognize the presence of our mother, Mrs. Abdul Mumin, HOD Department of Finance. We recognize all the presence. Yes, Dr. Abdul Mumin, from Department of Finance. I'm sorry. Dr. Abdul Mumin, HOD Department of Finance, University of Illinois. Also, we also recognize the presence of our teacher, Madam Abdul Yusuf, CEO, Islamic Council Limited. We recognize the presence. Now we are moving to the second lecture, which is for our guest lecturer, our father, the grand patron of this organization, UIPFS, University of Illinois, Islamic Banking and Finance Society, Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alawi, member of National Institute, MNI. Before that, join us and listen to the citation of our prof. Represented by Muhammad Al-Adadu, lecturer for Department of Islamic Law, College of Law, from the University of Sheffield.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a summary of the citation of our guest lecturer for today, which is Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alawi, ably represented by Madam Muhammad Jami Alila, the lecturer, Department of Islamic Law, College of Islamic Law, College of Law, Fountain University, Oshogo. Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alawi, MNI, FIP, MCI, ARP, CIAP, is a distinguished Nigerian Islamic scholar, jurist, and academic, a rare combination of classically trained Sharia scholar and legally qualified barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He graduated with first-class honors in Islamic law from Islamic University of Medina in 1993, earning recognition as the university's overall best graduating student. He went on to complete a master's degree in 1997 and his first PhD in 2002 at the same institution, both with highest distinction, before earning an LLM in 2007 and also a second PhD in 2013 from Omdurman University, Sudan in 2016. He was called to the Nigerian bar. Professor Alaro rose to become professor and head of the Department of Islamic Law of the University of Ilorin and serves as the Financial Regulation Advisory Committee of Experts, FRAS, at the Central Bank of Nigeria, helping shape the standards of Islamic finance in the country. He is a certified Islamic arbitrator and expert, a fellow of the Institute of Islamic Finance Professionals, and was conferred the MNI title by Nigeria's National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in 2021. In recognition of his sustained contributions to scholarship and Islamic finance, he was named the Nigerian Islamic Finance Person of the Year for 2025 and honored by the Islamic University of Medina as one of its top 10 most outstanding alumni worldwide. Brothers and sisters in Islam, join me as we welcome our professor to deliver his keynote and his speech on today's conference in the presence of Professor Abdul Abdul-Majid Alawi NNI, ably represented by Malam Muhammad Jani from Fountain University. Assalamu alaikum.
I would have loved to stand on the already established protocol for fear of breaching the protocol. However, I must recognize the presence of my teacher and my mentor in the person of Professor Abdul Wahab Muhammad Jami El-Leshi. He is my teacher and mentor. And in fact, I am under a sort of pressure to deliver a speech after he has delivered his own speech. However, I have no option because that's the protocol. That's how it should be. It is said in Arabic that La yufta wa malikun fil Madina. What am I to say when my teacher and the mentor have delivered his speech? He has scattered it all. However, since I was sent by sir? Yes, sir. Since I was sent by my Oga and my teacher also, my mentor in the person of Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro, MNI, I have to deliver the message he sent me to deliver. If not, I would have said, my Oga has delivered the lecture and I have to go. So I appreciate the presence of Professor Abdul El-Leshi. Like I said, I may not be able to observe the protocol as it should be, because that was how I said I should have followed the already existing protocol. I will not. But I have to recognize those I have to recognize. The Vice Chancellor of this university is also our Oga. He is the Oga of the entire university, and he was my Oga when I am in the university. And at the same time, he is still my Oga in person of Professor Abdul Wahab Egbewo. Framework or policies such as the SDG, that's the Sustainable Development Goals. We have ESG. ESG is the environmental, social, and governance framework. All these frameworks and policies, they are born out of the agitation to that financial activities also translate to human capacity building people. Like I used to say, I used to say that I prefer referring to Islamic finance as a Sharia compliant finance or an ethical finance. When you refer to Islamic finance as a non-interest based or non-interest finance, it is somewhat restrictive and limited in scope because it may pass the erroneous message that once there is the avoidance of interest in any financial arrangement, then it is Islamic, and that's not the position. Now go to the other slide. Now, what is ethical growth? Ethical growth is simply an economic development that integrates economic prosperity with moral responsibility, social justice, environmental sustainability, and sound governance. Now, the summary of ethical growth is that you want to ensure that there is a solid benefit to the people in the society, and there is also a social welfare by virtue of engaging in financial activities. Now, like I said earlier, I said conventionally, what we are talking about is that while you want to make finance, even if the environmental landscape. For instance, you may have someone engaging in a chemical or into the air to cause air pollution. And that is one of the objective of ESG, that is environment. Like I said, conventional financing for now is controlled.
At times, in most of the contracts that there are instances where you simply do not disclose all the terms and conditions. Probably there are some other terms you do not find there in the conditions that are signed, the product that was signed by our own parties. Very difficult for a bank or financial institution to use those products to benefit the immediate society. Now, financial institutions should be offered by financial institutions should be dynamic. The financial institutions should have a dynamic, they should have dynamic products that will accommodate the rich and the poor. That's why you have to even if a layman is trying to say that it's not just between Islamic bank and commercial bank. Because you see that when it goes to because what a layman now it is only a person with appreciable knowledge of Islamic banks and conventional banks. So there should be there should be a way at which there should be a specific design of a benchmark that the Islamic bank will use as opposed to what is being used by conventional banks. Because that will serve as a barrier. If you are using the same benchmark with conventional banks, then it serves as a barrier to people involving in your product or partnering your product. Now we also have long-term value creation over short-term financial gain. I have some questions. If I'm wrong, the partners in the field are here to correct me. But most of the products they finance are products of projects that will bring about, let's say that you know excessive speculation, because at times, even in Islamic finance, speculation may be accommodated, so minor, very minor, it will be accommodated, but there should be no excessive speculation. Then, the financing arrangement should not be strongly viewed. Now, Islamic finance perspective of ethical growth, that the principles that regulate ethical growth. Now, if you observe, if you are aware, if you know the principles and philosophies of Islamic, now the ethical growth and the principles are other forms of philosophies and principles that govern economy. Now, so whenever you are engaging in financial activity, you must be conscious of the fact that Allah will take you to account. If you are aware of this, you will not engage in business activity that are forbidden in Islam. You will not engage in gambling, you will not, it will be a pure act of worship, or it will be an act of worship that is not pure, that is not direct. Now to say where you pass up. Now, next slide. Your financial activity along with the Sharia parameter, the Sharia principle. If your financial activity conforms with Islamic principles, then it is Islamic. And if it does not, then it is philosophy of Islamic. What is the philosophy of Islamic? Islamic finance wants to ensure just and legal activities in the field. He said, "Financial being a money man wants a rich person to go bankrupt."
في تصرفي and some people have that entrepreneurial skill سيف اليد عنه سيف اليد عن المال, but they do not have money. Now what will happen? Poverty and fostering brotherhood, like he said Allah said لكي لا يكون دولة بين الأغنياء منكم. The mercy and compassion, handicapped, you should give that person a concession. You should not go and complicate, except if you know that the person is not honest about his condition. You will not be liable for defamation. And you can also punish him, you can jail him. You can take him to court and jail him. You can confiscate his property and sell it. If you know that the person is not honest about his condition. If he borrow money from you, and he engages in a business and eventually run out loss, there is nothing that concerns you under interest-based financing. But under trade-based, they are also under the principles of Islamic finance. Islamic law, like we have mentioned severally, you said Islamic law prohibits, or Islamic finance prohibits riba. Both of them are sinful. That is, you should not engage in gambling and alcohol drinking. Then God, that is excess, you will not be able to ascertain the price or the subject matter. Then misrepresentation of cow. Then the next slide. Now, we have observed that the very philosophy and principles of Islamic finance are intended with the principles of ethical growth. And in fact, the principles of Islamic finance are more detailed than both here. But what of other aspects of Islamic finance? What of takaful? It is not expressly recognized under both here. What of under which this NHF operates? National Housing Fund. National Housing Fund, there is no recognized Islamic financial system through Islamic finance. Now, there is also the need. Even this also has to. You see women opening their heads. It's not done. Even if you are not comfortable, only a mundane act. It is also an act of worship, within which you operate. So take financing as an act of worship, and I pray Allah will reward us abundantly. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun.
The question also means, what is the topic of thank you. Slide. Please click on now. Let's move to present. To present the award. Our father, Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alawi, represented by Muhammad Jami Aila, Ethicon. Also, Best Shadow of the Year 2025. So we just summarize it to a sentence. 2 line sentence. No, we have different line of sentence. So we just do 2 line sentences. Simple sentence. We call it tomorrow. Come briefly tell us about your company. We need 3 minutes.
And if I did not actually finish the name of my lecturer, Dr. Papa, it is not going to be something everywhere, online, on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Facebook, and the likes. Basically, what we do is we are actually creating a market. We also have several products we offer. One of these is the Islamic Finance Accelerator Program, where we develop young founders. We help them gather their ideas. We also have one of our products at next season. Last year, after the last accelerator program, we developed this plan. This is how we've been able to raise about 5 million for that. The campaign is still going. You might want to donate. Just click on www.impact.ng, then you can donate for Capital Development.
So we are building a human capital development in Islamic finance. We are creating an ecosystem for young people to start their budget. We've had so many interns that have been converted to full-time job, especially in IT media, sets, and the like. So once again, it is nice to meet you. That's our life.
Thank you so much, sir. The next person
My name is Yusuf Yakub. I'm representing Jaiz Bank. I will just talk about Jaiz Bank started operating institution that operates in line with the principle of Sharia. In the sense that we don't deal with interest, we don't deal with gambling and any that are trade-based, that is buying and selling. We have some that are partnership-based, and we also have some that are service-based. Now, the example of our financing that is trade, which is maybe 10%, 20%, or 90% return. But in the case of Jaiz, we do financing, not giving out loan. So what we pay directly to the dealer? When banks pay directly to the dealer, directly or indirectly, banks owe. Before these 12 months elapses, there is changes in macroeconomic activities. The conventional bank can request that among and nothing can change it. Now, let's say perhaps, maybe for one reason or the other, under conventional bank, the customer was unable to pay as and when due. The bank will start charging compounded interest, additional interest. But in terms of Jaiz, whether the customer was able to pay or not as and when due, the customer is still going to pay the exact amount. That's that on the school. Or if when they pay direct to the school, the only charge is that the bank is going to charge the service charge, which is going to be a little amount.